Interviews with leaders and experts in health, fitness, and anti-aging. Today's guest, Dr. Julie Kaesberg, Chief Medical Officer of EverspanLife. Make time for your wellness, or you will be forced to make time for your illness.
Hello, thank you for the great introduction.
Of course, Julie, it's so great to see you again. And again, today's topics, you are, your facility out there and your partners, the latest cutting edge medical technologies to help people achieve their optimal level of performance and health. And that's what our show is all about. So before we dive in, Julie, we all met at the A4M conference. We had a great time there, and that's filled with a bunch of powerful or empowering people filled with knowledge. But Julie, just give everyone a background on what you do there at EverspanLife and what EverspanLife is all about.
Yeah, we offer basically a concierge telemedicine, but we also do a lot of in-person and personalized medical care for everyone. We have comprehensive diagnostics. We do genetic testing on everyone that comes in, and then we will make both a nutrigenomic panel for everyone based on both your genetics and your labs. We also will create IV protocols based on, again, like nutrigenomics, labs, genetics. So everything is very personalized for each person, and we follow and track closely. We've had really, really remarkable results so far.
And you're based in Austin, Texas, but you have other facilities, correct?
Right. We actually have a really cool facility that's opening up in Sacramento, and that I would describe as biohacking meets MediSpa. And then there's also a facility in Austin, Texas, where we do a lot of regenerative procedures.
So talk about regenerative medicine a little bit, define that for the audience, and then what it is that you do under that title, regenerative.
So one of the coolest things that I'm doing right now, and this is very cutting edge, I would say, specifically in the field of longevity, we are removing blood, or specifically plasma, from older patients. So I've done both of my parents, and they're in their 70s. We'll pull out their 70-year-old plasma. And I think of plasma kind of along the lines of inflammation. And this is a place where you harbor senescent cells, cytokines, inflammatory cells. So we'll pull that out, and we usually try to pull out up to 2 liters, but not in one sitting. That would be over 2 different sittings. And then we've been replacing it with young plasma from 18 to 25-year-olds. So I will say my mother says she feels 10 years younger. I injected all of her joints that have been troublesome for her, and all of her joint pain went away literally by the next day, which I was like, I thought that was a remarkable result. And then you can also do any kind of thing that you would do with the aesthetic world using plasma. So for example, the vampirefacials and or an O shot or a P shot, V shot, D shot, whatever you would like to call it, you can do all of that with young plasma as well. So
sorry, Julie, can you explain vampirefacial, what exactly that means to people?
So typically this is pulling out whole blood from whoever the patient is, and then we spin it down in a centrifuge, separate the plasma, and then we'll take a little microneedle and go across your face, basically, and then you will rub the plasma into the little pores you're creating through the microneedling. And it is a motor microneedle, so it's not, or it's, you know what I mean? It's professional grade. So it's going really, really fast. Like you're getting several needles a second. You need to be numb for this, but then you can put the plasma, essentially, you can use as a tool to help glide. And it really it creates honestly, it's like the best facial you'll ever have. It removes fine lines and wrinkles. It helps to even skin tone.
Is that in one sitting? Is that in one sitting? Yeah. People can see that result?
Yeah. Oh, well, so you're going to leave there looking a little wrecked. You leave
Yeah.
and your face is red, and you don't usually wash off the plasma immediately. You'll let that kind of hang out for a little while. But I would say within even the next day, your face will look much better. And then within like 3 to 5 days, it kind of will act a little bit like a sunburn almost, where like you might have some peeling and it's going to be like a little rough feeling from the microneedling. But once it heals, it looks great. It's honestly like one of the best facials that I do.
So
I'm sorry. How excuse me? How long does that last? Is that when you say gets rid of fine lines and wrinkles? Does that last for a year or it's 6 months? Or you have to come back and do another one in 3 months?
I would say realistically, it probably lasts anywhere from like 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
And it never goes back to quite as bad. There's usually like a little bit of residual where like it never looks as bad as when you first started, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like starting from a better start point each time. But now I have this cool new tool of being able to do it with the young plasma as well. And then I've had like really remarkable results injecting the young plasma into, for example, an older patient's joints. So like if someone's knee has been bothering them, I honestly don't think I could get the same results injecting 70-year-old plasma as I can from the 20-year-old plasma into the 70-year-old knee. So that has been far better than what I was expecting. Yeah.
So how long does that take? So you said your parents, correct?
I have done, both of my parents.
And how long does it take for the effect or impact of feeling different?
So specifically with the joints, my mom, I did several of her joints and they felt better by the next day with one treatment. Wow. And she hasn't needed a repeat one. And I will also say, so I've done this now for a few older women. This becomes a problem as we age for women, but a lot of ladies can get stress urinary incontinence. So this is like a sneeze and pee. It's a problem when you have a short urethra. Or if they're like doing something where they're bearing down, like they can have a little bit of urinary leakage. So we can do something called a V shot, essentially, which is injecting some plasma into the anterior vaginal wall. And it really helps with the stress urinary incontinence. It's been a game changer for pretty much every woman I've done this for that's over 70. So really cool. I mean, that's a quality of life issue that I think is pretty remarkable.
Now, just one more quick question, just to follow up. So as far as availability for women and cost and all that, is it something that's available to many, or is this more that, a service that can only be available to someone? Because I know you said it was concierge. So I'm curious about like the cost. Like, can just anybody do it, or you have to sort of be a certain, demographic income level in order to do some of these things?
I would say that, so for the joint specifically, it's not that bad for each joint. I mean, obviously the price would increase with additional joints. If you're doing a full body plasma exchange, so if we're removing over a liter of plasma and then replacing it with plasma, that does get a little cost prohibitive for some people. So it kind of depends. And we do not take insurance. So this is all cash pay at this moment. I think as it grows in popularity, the prices will come down as they always do. But right now it is a little bit cost prohibitive for a lot of people.
So, okay, 3 different questions. So first for the vampirefacial. Now, with the microneedling process and then the plasma applied to the tissue, explain what exactly it does. Does it help regenerate collagen? Mm-hmm. Does the plasma nourish the skin in such a way that it hydrates it more, or maybe it's all the following and more? How does it improve your appearance?
I think of this a lot like the plasma has a lot of growth factors in it, and it's almost like a beacon for stem cells. So yes, it does help to regenerate collagen, but also it's like recruiting your own body's healing mechanism and immune system to kind of go and like it's generating more of a robust immune response in that area. So a little bit of each of the things.
Okay. would you say that it's a similar effect when plasma is injected in a joint? Like, does it help your body produce more of its own painkillers? Because obviously overnight, it's not going to help you regenerate cartilage. So what is the mechanism that helps it? You know, you shoot it into a shoulder and you're like, oh crap, yesterday it felt like crap. Today it's amazing.
So for some of those, there's also a substance that I like to inject. So like if I were doing a guy like you that's like working out a lot and asking a lot of your joints, I would probably also include a Wharton's jelly injection. Wharton's jelly, I think of kind of more as like the scaffolding. And then when you put the plasma in, the plasma is kind of like, again, it's a beacon for stem cells and it has a lot of growth factor in it. And then also coming soon, we'll be harvesting stem cells as well. So that'll be like a cool adjunct. But
Very
I
cool.
do like, especially with joints and for someone like you that's an athlete and asking again, you're putting a lot of stress on each of your joints when you're lifting. I would for sure put the Wharton's jelly in addition to the growth factors, just so I have a more robust scaffolding in there. But a lot of people are actually able to ward off having a shoulder surgery, for example, or a knee surgery by doing a lot of these regenerative procedures in lieu of that.
Awesome. And then last question is for men, because there's a lot of guys, I work with men over 40, and a lot of guys don't read much, listen to a lot of the things that that's more prominent with women, like different kinds of facials, different kinds of just caring for your skin in general. Guys are like, I'm good, just rub dirt on it, bro, I'm fine. But in reality, is a lot of guys, they get the crow's feet, they get the whatever the hell these are called.
Yeah. Look right here. I got it.
Marionette lines.
Yeah, exactly. And
I got 'em.
guys will say under the radar, they're thinking like, oh, I'd love to get rid of these wrinkles and whatnot, but I can't tell my friends, they'll laugh at me. How often do you have men come into your clinic for that? And also, can men expect to see the same results as women? Which I kind of know the answer, but
Absolutely. And I am happy to do all of your Botox for all of your friends. And we are delighted for men to kind of follow our lead and actually start caring about your skin. Because I would say specifically for this community, if you spend this much time in the gym working on your body, why would you neglect your face? And why wouldn't you want your face to match your body with vitality and and youth? Like you want to maintain that youthful appearance. And especially now with all the advances in longevity medicine, I think maintaining your appearance on your face and your skin is imperative for any person, be it man, woman, or whatever people are identifying by now.
Period. And
so a lot of times I'll do a combination of both Botox with the microneedling, and then like in 5 days, you look honestly 10 years younger. People are like, wow, you look really refreshed. Like it's amazing, especially if you haven't done it yet. If you haven't done Botox yet, it takes like a good 5 days, I usually say, before it really sets in. But it's kind of like you'll leave there thinking like, I paid how much for what? And you can't see anything. But then if you wait a good 5 days or so, or like sometimes faster, maybe 4, suddenly you wake up and you're like, oh, this is it. And it's like 10 years younger. It's amazing.
So you have, we're talking about, you didn't talk about chemical peel, but I want to, when you mentioned the plasma and the microneedling, I know that they have that, whatever, I think they call it the chemical peel. Can that be comparable to a chemical peel?
Yeah, you can also, peels, I mean, all of these, it's like, different
but
modalities.
Is there one that you would prefer over the other that's maybe either safer or better to do? Is microneedling, what you mentioned before, the same as the chemical peel?
No, this is completely different. I mean, a chemical peel, as implied by the name, is like chemicals that you get rubbed on your face and then it'll make your skin peel off. And in theory, then it's kind of like a reptile shedding its skin so that you would have a more youthful appearance that has more even skin tone underneath when your skin peels off. The
Right.
microneedling will typically actually cause a little bit of the flaking of the skin as well. So you'd have a very similar effect with the
But
microneedling.
it seems like
I
the microneedling would be a better way to go, is what
I
I'm getting at.
personally prefer that one. Um, just I find that I get better results doing that one. So I like that the best myself. And then also I love the plasma just because you can inject it as well. And you can kind of do a similar, I mean, if you were really motivated here, you could do a similar thing where you're injecting, like if you did a teeny tiny bit of filler, for example, and then you could put the plasma on top and use the filler as a scaffolding for the
So
plasma. It'd have to,
microneedling would work in conjunction with a Botox or a filler?
oh yeah,
Or they would work together?
absolutely.
And can you do micro needling on other parts of your body? Because I have a friend who said she did
I think
her
so.
her
Yeah.
stomach, she did her stretch marks, she
Yes.
did underneath her.
Yeah.
I've done stretch marks, I do scars, I do, you name it, all of
How
the
are the results
things
with that?
anywhere.
Yeah.
How are the
They're
results
decent.
actually?
I actually really like, so for scars, I really like, I do some Chinese medicine too, but there's a technique, it's kind of like scraping, it's called gua sha, and it's basically like an instrument, and like I'll put like a CBD balm or like a tiger balm on the scar, and I just like I scrape the crap out of it. And you can do the microneedling, and I'll inject plasma. Like I kind of do a little bit of everything, but you want the scar to not be stuck to the skin, so I'll mobilize it first with the Chinese medicine, and then I'll inject plasma, and you can microneedle as well if it's like really irritating to whoever it is. But just getting it unstuck is one of the best things that you can do for scar tissues that are kind of deeper. Do you know what I mean by unstuck? Like if it, especially if it's a surgical scar and it's kind of like stuck to tissue layers that are beneath. And then when you move it, everything kind of moves with it. It's not like a free floating skin over the top of your hand, like normal or wherever the scar would be.
There's trial and error when you come up with these different ways to repair.
Not necessarily. No, this actually, it just works really well. And I kind of have a little bit of a different
How
brain
do
for
you
some of
find
this
out?
just
How
because
do you
I've done.
find out how to do these processes? That's what my question is.
The Navy sent me to acupuncture school. I just kind of combine all of the things together and what makes sense in my my brain. I'm like, this
Right.
actually, but it works really well. So it's like you try it a few times, and I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if I mixed this with this? It's kind of it's how you get
That's
inventive
my
with
interest
things.
in the question, because
I know.
where does this come from? How do we create this? You're like a little scientist, like chemist there, and it works.
I'm using all of my tools in my toolbox, or I try to combine them in fun, interesting ways.
You know what's good though is I think we don't hear enough practitioners talk about creativity and forward thinking, is right? As a lot of people just go, well, this is in the medicine and this is what's always been done, so we're going to do more of that. But to think, okay, let's combine these and see what happens, I think that's great because it shows that you're willing to go outside of the box and think about it. The greatest inventions in the world were always created when people did that.
So Julie, I have a question for our women in midlife demographic. So, as we get older, we lose elasticity and collagen in our skin just from hormones changing and whatnot. So, and women a lot of times will ask me, like, do you have anything, like, what can I do to put on my skin? It's getting that crepey look, or I feel like my skin is not as, firm and vibrant as it used to look. Like, are there things that they can do, like procedures like you're talking about, or are there any lotions or potions that you like that someone could pick up, like over the counter, that they could use? Like, what things can you suggest for women that are like, hey, I just want my skin to continue to look good and have that healthy, vibrant appearance?
So specifically, I don't know if there's any opposition to hormone replacement, but I am a big fan of hormone replacement therapy for women. I think the Women's Health Initiative causing more breast cancer has been completely debunked. Like, this is just not true. And as far as total values, it's not really a thing. If there were really still deep concern, I actually like coconut oil, and I use food grade oils, because the other thing that I've noticed is, like, this is a lot of health and wellness stuff, but what you eat matters. And what you put on your skin also matters. So what you don't want to be doing is adding weird chemicals to your skin and that, or like toxins. This is why, so for example, the vampirefacial is pretty cool because you're using your own blood to stimulate your own body's immune system and your own collagen growth. I also am a fan of eating collagen, and I eat collagen protein powder. I make this amazing yogurt where I put the collagen protein powder in Greek yogurt. And I eat this almost every day, but I mean, Greek yogurt, 18 grams of protein, no fat, 7 carbs, and then collagen protein powder in there. I mean, you can get the protein quantity pretty high. It's a great hack for eating more protein. But so a lot of that skin elasticity and removing the crepey look would be mitigated, for example, being on hormones. And there are a lot of like hormone creams. So even just like an estrogen cream or something like that would be nice. If someone did not want to go on estrogen, I would definitely increase collagen consumption. And I like just the actual oil, and I use food grade coconut oil. Yeah, the skin changing, I would say, especially in that age group, it's probably time to check your hormones. And like, I will tell you, this is something I've been really paying close attention to because I will absolutely be on hormones myself when the time is there. I feel like you keep a more youthful appearance when you have hormones.
Absolutely.
Christian, so I know you work a lot with the men. So the collagen powders, how popular is that with your
Extremely.
clients?
I mean, there's a lot of research out there that shows collagen is not only good for the skin, but good for the joints. And there's different types of collagen, but a lot of the supplements out there are great. And I think that what's interesting is that in America, we are the country of services, right? We take things that we've done, that cultures that are more traditional, like tribes and whatever other countries do, and then we'll extract things, turn it into a product and say, here. Like, for example, I tell my clients, I'm like, you eat chicken on the bone? Yeah. I'm like, eat the gristle and the cartilage off the end. There's collagen. Or for bovine, like the sinew and all the stuff that people cut off the steak and throw away. I'm like, you realize the collagen supplement you're buying, they take that and the skin and the ears and all that, and they process it down and give it to you in a supplement. I'm like, do take the supplement because you want to increase the amount you get, but also eat that good stuff, you know?
Would you have a preference supplement over a powder? Or
I personally use Great Lakes collagen hydrolysate. That's just one that I've learned over the years is a good one, but I know there's a lot of other good ones like Vital Farms.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they make a good collagen.
And Julie, do you take collagen powder yourself, you said?
I do. I actually I think it's called Vital Kitchen, but it's insanely good. It's chocolate. It's like a chocolate coconut, and like their products are all pretty clean. I think that's the correct one. It's the one that Mark Sisson every day. Every day. And
Primal
Kitchen. There you go. Yeah, that one. I like Primal Kitchen. The other thing,
it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that stuff is so good. So that's what I put in the Greek yogurt. And actually, I'm going to
you have it in your
vital ones, vital proteins.
So
yes,
some people put it in their coffee.
Yeah.
Primal Kitchen. I put Element chocolate salt in my coffee. That's really good. On a side note, I wanted to comment. It's so good. It's delicious. Once you do it once, then you have to Element LMNT chocolate salt in your coffee.
It down, so you know what that means.
It will change your life. It's so good. But I want to comment on
the electrolyte powder.
Do you buy it online?
Yeah, it's electrolyte. Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon.
So notice we're all writing.
Comment on
Christian's writing, Linda's writing.
I love this. It's
what
so
you do when
freaking
we
good.
I love
this is
learning.
what you do
I
when
mean,
we have a
learn.
podcast. You write it down.
Yeah.
After you go out
On
to
Christian's
buy,
comment, so
apply.
For what I'll say, I read a really interesting book called Deep Nutrition, and one of the take homes from Deep Nutrition was to eat more. So, for example, in the example he gave with meat on bones, eating more meat on bones and eat more organ meats. And like he was exactly right that this is a more robust source of collagen. And actually it's more bioavailable when you eat it in that form than it is in the powder, but we're obviously doing okay with just the powders. Yeah. So this is, in alignment with what Christian was just talking about with collagen. So there were actually, I think, 4 take homes from this book. One being to eat more organ meats. 2 being to eat meats off bones. So to your point of eating the gristle and eating all of that stuff, that's actually the most, like the best source of collagen is eating like the meat off the bone and getting the gristle and like the not as meaty piece of meat, if you will. That is where all of the collagen is, and you'll get a much higher glycine load too from the collagen. And glycine is great for brain health and your joints, and it helps you sleep, like many benefits of glycine. The other 2 things that I think were notable in that book were to eat sprouted things. So the way I now look at vegetables, so sprouts are the most nutrient dense, and then basically just as they're growing into plants, it's just a dilution. So they're just adding more water and growing. So if you have like a broccoli sprout, that's a much more nutrient dense way to get, for example, sulforaphane, than if you were to eat an entire head of broccoli. The other thing was to eat fermented things. So this is like whatever, kimchi, sauerkraut. I kind of veer away from kombucha because I find a lot of the kombucha has a bunch of added sugar. So you've kind of defeated the purpose if you're like drinking a bunch of sugar. But
kombucha
does it include
alcohol in it?
You
Does
can find some
I
of
was
them
looking at that the other
do.
day. It has alcohol or no
right?
alcohol?
So it's fermented.
Yeah.
Some of them have. You can get a hard kombucha. This exists, but not all of them do. Or if they do, like
High sugar
most of them,
content?
it should be like trace and not enough that you'd actually notice any alcohol.
But high
It's supposed to
sugar,
be
you said.
fermented off.
Thank you.
Many, not all. Yeah, I agree with some of them do have a very high sugar content.
But
So
you don't take kombucha, Julie? You do not?
I do not.
You do not. What are the benefits
No.
of kombucha?
Well, it's fermented. So fermented foods are great for gut health, your
Like
microbiome.
digestion? Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, like she said, she like natto is fermented soybeans. But she also mentioned kimchi, exactly, sauerkraut, things like yogurt, like anything with active cultures. Those are all great for. I got to read that book.
What was the book again?
Deep Nutrition.
Deep Nutrition. Who wrote that?
Deep Nutrition.
Who wrote the book?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Who's the
I
author?
don't know off the top of my head.
It's Catherine Shanahan, MD.
So people can write it down.
So in your experience, what percent? And I know it's more women, but what percent of women versus men? Maybe you don't see any men that come into your facility. Like, what do you notice?
Ratio?
Yeah, exactly. What's the ratio?
Okay, you cut out, so you're going to have to repeat your question. What is the ratio of women to...
Women to men that you see come in your facility?
Oh, so it depends. So here's actually something interesting. I find with Everspan, we actually attract more men. And I think part of it is like my willingness to do kind of new things. Men seem a little bit more interested in doing some of the cutting edge procedures, and women tend to hold off a little bit and see how it goes first. So I would say in that regard, the men are in some regards, but women are more obviously traditionally into beauty stuff. So I mean, I do a little bit of both, and then I will tell you, behind closed doors, men for sure want to have Botox and clear skin as well. So they just don't want to have to go anywhere or say anything to anyone.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm going to make a stand because for the guys listening, again, my men over 40. Just go get stuff done. Nobody cares. Your friends aren't going to laugh at you. And if they do, they're laughing because they're uncomfortable that they didn't go do it. Right. So it's like, take care of your skin, eat good stuff.
I blasted it out there on social media. They were doing
it's like, stop caring what other people think. Go to Julie's facility.
Right. Feel good looking.
Get your stuff.
I want to use the Austin for a little vacay. Come back looking refreshed.
Stop being a baby. Just go do it.
Well, we have a couple minutes left. So Julie, so I can't wait to go see you. I'm so excited of the things that we have coming up. Of course, we have the Olympia coming up. We have the A4M, of course, later, but we have the November. We have the Formula One, Complete Circle of Care in Las Vegas. That's going to be fun. Then, of course, Dr. Bob, that's an annual event for us. And of course, now for you. So it's awesome. But where can people can find you at Everspan.com, EverspanLife.com, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And then also Instagram, EverspanLife. Anything else you would like to add before we close out and give thanks to our awesome sponsor?
No, I think that was great for today. I
We'll
really
definitely
appreciate
see
you having
part
us
two.
here. I would love that.
Yeah, we appreciate
Well,
you for sure. We need you here for live though too.
I would love that. I will keep you informed of all the new cool stuff we're going to be doing coming down the pipe. We've got some cool stuff that we're dreaming up right now.
This is Muscle and Fitness Plus on the road. We'll be there to see you.
I love it.
Yeah, no, for sure, for certain. So we just want to thank, I just really want to thank Matt Park, the founder of TRM, Trainer Revenue Multiplier. TRM, the premier wealth creation system for experienced fitness coaching that's helped you earn more, working less. Through the great success of TRM, changing the lives of thousands of trainers, now introducing DRM, Doctors Revenue Multiplier, as they face the same challenges as trainers in regard to scaling your business. Doctors, clinicians, hormone clinics, and med spas, benefits and value, new members, new clients, increase of streams of revenue, sales of product and services, new opportunities. Give them a shout. TRM, Trainer Revenue Multiplier, DRM, Doctor Revenue Multiplier. It may save your business and it can change your life. Instagram at Trainer Revenue Multiplier. And of course, be sure to check us out. Follow us on our podcast, subscribe, found on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and of course, Muscle Fitness Plus. And on my left, men's health specialist, Christian Palmer. Give them where they can find you, Christian, and your Muscle Fitness Plus channel.
RelentlessFitnessAndNutrition.com is my website. Relentless Fitness and Nutrition is my Muscle and Fitness Plus page. And then Christian F, as in Foxtrot, Christian F. Palmer is my Instagram.
And Linda.
My Instagram is at Linda Stevens Fit, and Stevens is with a PH. My website is Linda M. Stevens, and my Muscle and Fitness Plus channel is Midlife Mastery.
And I can attest for both. Christian advises me on my left on my training and my nutrition, and Linda, my daughter. So there we have it. It all happens
I'm not
right.
your daughter. Your daughter.
My daughter. My daughter. Yeah, my daughter. She's my daughter, yeah.
But I have a New York accent now.
From the Bronx. Julie, Dr. Julie Kaesberg, love you. You're awesome. Can't wait to see you again and can't wait to have you back. And we'll see you soon. And thank you for tuning in. Remember, we're here taking notes. So if we're taking notes, you should be taking notes. Listen, learn, try, apply, reinforce, repeat.